Hey everybody, and welcome to the Foundation series. Today we are going to learn two new poses. One is extended side angle, and the second one is revolved extended side angle. The only prop I'm using today is a block. It's optional. There will be modifications that I will teach, so if you don't have a block, don't worry, don't turn the video off. Let's keep going. If you do want a block, pause the video, go ahead and get everything set up, and we'll get started. All right, so I'm gonna set my block off to the side right now. And we're gonna start in tabletop pose. So come to all fours and we'll get wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. You know the drill by now, and we'll warm up the spine with a few cats and cows. So inhale as you drop the belly, lift the heart, and exhale to round the spine, tuck the tail, and let the head curl under. Keep moving at your own pace with your own breath. Fingers are nice and spread wide, creating a firm foundation for the pose. You can add in extra movements here. Just anything that feels right here in the beginning of practice to just get your body warm, find a little bit of fluidity. And taking this time to really settle into this space on your mat, dedicating this time to yourself and your practice. All right, so come back to a neutral spine in tabletop pose. And next, let's move through a couple of poses that we already know. And we're gonna flow through them. So first, let's lift the left leg out behind you and then bring it up between your hands. If you need a little assistance, just grab your leg behind your ankle, pop it on up there. And we're gonna flow from this grounded low lunge into half splits. You can use a couple of blocks here if that gives you a little bit more space here for your heart to be open and feeling comfortable in the pose. But let's take a deep breath in through the nose, keeping the mouth closed, and exhale, half splits. Your knee does not have to straighten all the way. You can keep it bent. Inhale, shift forward, and exhale, shift back. We're just warming up the legs here. Keep going, moving with the pace of your own breath. Couple more times here. All right, last time in half splits, and then we're gonna hold that grounded low lunge. Holding here, just breathing into the front of that right hip, finding some openness there. Good. So we're gonna move into a modified side angle pose now. You're in the perfect place you're set up for moving into this pose. So my back leg, back here, I'm gonna kickstand over to my left. So I'm just gonna kind of swing that over to the side. And as I do so, you'll feel your hips shift back. Good. And now I'm gonna lift my upper body up out of this pose and come into an upright position. Now you really want to make sure this right hip is nice and open. And then you're going to take your left forearm and prop it on your left thigh. I'm going to scoop my foot in more towards the middle of the mat here because this is just too wide of a stance for me. You can, after you practice for a while, you can kind of sense in your body where your boundaries are. And I needed to move my foot, adjust it a little bit. You can do the same. So you're leaning your left forearm, supporting it on your right or your left thigh. Now, what you want to make sure to not do here is just kind of cave in. So the upper body is moving forward. If I'm caving in, the heart space is starting to close up a little. You want to keep that heart space nice and open and keep this right hip pressing forward because it's too easy to let that hip sink back, and then we're not really working our way into opening that hip. So press it forward and create a nice long line from that knee all the way up the leg, through the side body, and up the arm. You can reach your arm up overhead. So this is a great side body lengthener here. You can look up if it feels comfortable and if your balance is there for you today. But I'm really stretching through the front of this hip and the whole side of the body. Now quickly, you can bring your arm down so that you stabilize yourself here. Look down at your left leg, and you want to make sure that your leg isn't caving in towards the midline here. But you want to keep the knee back so that if you look down, your knee is kind of pointing towards your second and third toes there. That'll help keep your joints safe. All right, so we're going to come out of this pose. I'm going to bring my arms back down and straighten up my legs and come back to tabletop. Let's just go ahead and do that on the other side. So right leg comes out behind us, and then bring it up, giving it an assist if you need to. And we're in a grounded low lunge. Take a deep breath in and exhale to half splits. Keep flowing with your breath at your pace. Inhaling through grounded low lunge and exhaling to half splits. Remember that your knee does not have to straighten. The leg can stay bent in your half splits. We're just warming up the legs, opening up the body here. No pressure, just kindness, just gentleness, being gracious with ourselves, cutting ourselves the same kind of slack we might for our neighbors. Last time here in half splits, and then we're going to pause in a grounded low lunge here and just breathe into the front of the left hip now. And remember, we are always breathing through the nose with the mouth closed. Good. All right, so I'm gonna move into my modified extended side angle on the opposite side now. I'm gonna go ahead, I know I'm gonna want my foot more in the middle of the mat, so I'm gonna go ahead and heel toe this right foot over towards the middle, and then kickstand the left foot, and come up, open up through the front of the left hip, bring my right forearm to right thigh, and I'm gonna check that alignment, make sure my knee is pointing towards second and third toes, and then I'll sweep my arm up, remembering that the heart space stays nice and open, not leaning forward, but peeling it open, hips are open, heart is open, and stretching through the side of the body. Breathing here, breathing into the hip. Good, so I'm just gonna windmill the arms down and in front. Go ahead and straighten up the legs. Ooh, that's pretty dirty now. All right, and then I'll just step it back to tabletop. All right, so that's a modified version of extended side angle. And let's go through a couple more options here. We're gonna come to standing. So come to standing in the middle of your mat, facing the long side of your mat. There are a lot of ways to get into poses, but I'm gonna show you kind of a simple and straightforward way of getting into this today. All right, so I'm gonna widen my stance. And first I'm gonna locate the strength of my legs. So instead of just kind of hanging out here, I'm gonna imagine drawing the strength up through the feet, all the way up the legs. And feel your kneecaps lift a little bit. Pull belly button into spine. Just take a moment to center and find a little bit of groundedness and strength here. Good. And then, once I'm there, I'm gonna look down at my left foot and turn it out so that my toes are now pointing in the direction of the top of my mat. All right, so then I've got my leg lined up, and I can go ahead and bend the knee. Good. I'm gonna widen my stance because I know where I'm going here, and I know that'll feel better for me and my body. So same thing here, standing, this back hip, this is your back hip here, your right one, is gonna be nice and open. Good. You can work towards having this thigh parallel to the earth. And I wanna stay rooted in the outer blade of my back foot there. And you can do the same forearm to thigh here and reach the arm up. That's a great way, especially in the beginning of class. This is a really nice version of this pose because this opening in the hip can be really intense. And you want to keep that heart space nice and open. We're peeling open the front of the body. Good. And I'm going to grab the block to show you another version here. You can have a block here. You can have a block here. Blocks have a lot of levels. You can lower the block. And eventually you might come all the way down with the palm on the mat, either in front of your foot or back here. Good. So I'm gonna come back up to standing and turn my toes back to face the long edge of the mat. We're just gonna switch sides like this. So now, facing the back of my mat, I point my right toes towards the short end of the mat, the back of the mat, and move into it on the other side. So I'm gonna bend this knee, working towards feet parallel. And then, sorry, just a little lapse in brain working there. Bring my forearm to my thigh and reach up and over, front of the body peeling open. Nice and open in this hip here. Coming into it in this manner, I think, is a bit easier to find this openness in the hip than if you come into it from, say, tabletop or jump facing dog. So this is a great way to learn this pose, is coming into it from just a simple standing position. Good. And we'll come back up. All right, so revolved extended side angle, revolved side angle. We're going to just move through that really quickly. And it's the same whether you're low to the ground or in the fuller standing version of the pose. So we'll move through it just really quickly. It's just with a twist. That's all it is. It's the only difference. So I'm gonna move into it in this side. Good. All right, so come to it like this. So this is our extended side angle. And then if you wanted to move into a revolved side angle, arms come down. So I'm in a grounded lunge here. And again, your hand can be on a block. I'm just gonna go ahead and plant my hand to the inside of my foot and then open up. You can lower the back knee if that's really intense. Lower the back knee and untuck the toes. Or you can have that knee lifted. It's a little bit more intense. It's just a nice detoxifying twist. Good. So bring hands back down. I'm gonna plant the back foot, windmill the arms up and switch sides. So come into your extended side angle, your version. Good. Now I'm going to bring my hands down to the sides of my foot. Again, from your grounded low lunge, you can lower your back knee or keep it lifted. Plant your left hand and open up as you twist. Good. If your leg is lifted in the back, keep pressing through your heel. And hands come back down. I'm gonna windmill the arms up. And that is it for today. I will see you next time for two poses that are some of my favorites, Gomukhasana and Garudasana. We'll see you then. Namaste.